Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you very much for joining me on another adventure. I really appreciate it. I'm out here in the awesome Aussie bush. I'm about an hour in and I'm hiking down to a creek. The plan for today is to find a nice spot next to the creek and just relax. This area was hit really hard in the recent bushfires, 2019 and 2020. You can see behind me, some of the mountains around here have been absolutely hammered. The one positive though is it's cleared out a lot of the undergrowth, and this trail has been very easy to walk. Last time I came here, a number of years ago now, the trail was almost impossible to find despite having quite good GPS and mapping technology available. I'm coming down to an old farming river flat. Now this is pretty commonplace back in the day, where a lot of the open grassy areas that were template burned by the Indigenous Australians, they were quickly taken over by the settlers and became quite sought after because they were obviously open, had grass, so we were good for bringing in pasture. Oh wow, have a look at this. So behind me you can see a rocky outcrop way off in the distance. That's where I've come. I parked the car up there and I've walked down the ridge, and now I'm walking my way into the creek. It's probably pushing towards 30 degrees, and yeah, it's been a long time since I've had those sort of temperatures, so it's taking a little while to adapt. Because the sun's out and it's quite warm, I do need to keep my eyes peeled for snakes. It's certainly that time of year again. So I do have a Snakebite Kit, a personal locating beacon, and a satellite messaging device for safety purposes. I always carry those in my backpack. So yeah, I'm just walking down this spur. I've probably got about a kilometre or so to go until I get to the creek. And because this area was grazed, it is fairly degraded, but I have been here before and I do know of a really nice spot on the creek. So yeah, I'm hoping I can set up the hammock and just spend a couple of days relaxing. Because the fires have ripped through here, they've taken all the trees off the mountains. The landscape looks very different to the last time I was here. It's amazing how different it looks actually. Just entered the field of nightmares. You can just see the sun is glistening off these dead grass stalks, and there's all these orb spiders across the trails. Just going to scoot around the spiders. No, they're kind of here too. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. Oh. Okay, I'm not far from where I want to camp. I've come down that grassy hill, and now I'm just walking through a little bit of scrub along the bank of the creek. I've got maybe about 100 meters or so to go, and then I'll get out pretty much on top of where I want to be, which is awesome. It's really cool to see these paper daisies growing really happily. So I've just hit the creek bed. The channel is about 50 meters over that way, but wow, the water's certainly pushed through here recently. There's a lot of flood debris. Oh, I'm feeling really tired. Backpack's heavy. It's just not working for me today. Yeah, I hope the spot that I picked out to camp is okay. Oh, well, I hit the creek. The creek's looking pretty good actually. The water's clear. It's not flowing too much, so I'll be able to cross here pretty safely. Yeah, it looks good. I just had to sit down for a minute. I'm not feeling 100%. Yeah, not feeling particularly fit and just really tired, and the combination of the heat and the heavy backpack's just really taken it out of me. I haven't walked all that far, to be honest, so Just need to listen to the body and just have a rest for a sec. I'm probably only about 100 metres from where I want to camp anyway, but where I want to camp is literally just over here and then up around just on the other side of those trees here. It's interesting, it looks like the water has really pumped through here and it's carved out a much bigger channel than was here last time. When I was here a couple of years ago, it was in the midst of drought and there was hardly any water, so not surprising. But I'm a little bit concerned that where I camped last time is maybe has been completely wiped out by the flood. But I've just seen up here there's a little rise and some trees which look perfect for hammocks. So that might be a good option if my camp spot from last time's gone. I don't normally do this, but I'm taking my shoes and socks off to cross the creek. I only have one creek crossing if all goes well. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be worth it for having dry feet tonight. Oh, I'm glad I don't have much more than 100 metres or so to walk. Because yeah, I'm feeling pretty shattered, to be honest. Ugh. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that the floods have reshaped this whole landscape, and it might not be quite what I remembered it. Well, unfortunately, the floods have washed away my campsite. So last time I camped here, this is all grass. Now it's yeah, the creeks dumped a whole bunch of sand here. I could camp here if I wanted to, but it's not nearly as nice as it was. Oh. There's some pretty funny goanna tracks everywhere, so there must be a pretty healthy goanna population here. Yeah, this isn't as good as I remembered it, so I'm going to wander back to that little rise I saw where I crossed the creek and see if it's any good up there. I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. I'm cooked. I've really not walked very far, but I'm just feeling horrendous at the moment. So the way I'm feeling now, I think all I need to do is get the hammock up and just have a rest. It's really weird. I'm going to shoot my girlfriend a message with my satellite device just to let her know where I am. But yeah, I think we'll call this good for the night, and yeah, just find a couple of trees to set the hammock up. Okay, well, I've set up the hammock and the tarp, but the sun's actually really bright, and the tarp's not giving me enough protection from it. So what I'm going to do, because I'm really just feeling off, so I'm going to take down the hammock and I'm going to put it up in the shade. There's a couple of spots down there which look a lot more shady. I'm just going to rest for an hour or so, and then I'll check back in. Hey guys, well, I've come down to the creek. It's nice to get out of the sun. Yeah, I don't know if I've got some sort of heat stroke or something. I don't think so. Like, I only spent a couple of hours in the sun, but yeah, it's nice to get out of the sun regardless. I'm just relaxing in the hammock. I'm filtering some water. Yeah, I might spend another 15-20 down here and then head back up to camp. You can see my tarp from here. Looks nice in the sunlight. I've got my filter going non-stop. Hey again guys, as you can see I've got the fire on, just a little one tonight. It's pretty warm today, so it is definitely cooling off at the moment, but yeah, I've just dug a little hole just to keep it nice and contained. I've scraped all of the leaf litter around here, and there's no trees above me, so it should be nice and safe. There's hardly any wind at all, but yeah, basically just having a little fire to cook my dinner on. I'm in the process of moving it to one side, so I've got the access to the coals here for my steak. So I've got a little steak and a sweet potato and some zucchini. That should be nice. A little bit of steak spice, and yeah, that should do the job nicely. So I don't think it's going to be a very long night tonight. I'm feeling better, but I'm really tired, so I'm going to have a really early night. I'm just going to cook up some dinner and then head to bed, I think. I'm really glad I've got the bug net actually. There is a lot of bugs around. Yeah, I guess with the combination of the temperatures warming up, lots of rain recently, and it's just, yeah, there are just bugs everywhere. So none of them are too dangerous or annoying, but yeah, I'm glad I've got the bug net. Now I know I'm going to get the steak police here, going, you've cooked it too much, but it's been a warm day, and although the steak was frozen and I kept it in a insulated bag, it was just a little bit warmer than I would have liked, so I've decided to cook it to medium, probably medium well actually, but that's okay because it's going to taste delicious. As it turns out, the sweet potato was just a little bit too hard to cook on the grill. The flies are really bad at the moment. As soon as I turn a light on, they just swarm. So I'm going to have, instead of sweet potato, I've got my my piece of flatbread. So I'm just going to have a nice wrap. Whoop. 10-second rule. Alright. I'm getting absolutely slaughtered by all these bugs everywhere. Alright. Bon appetit. That's pretty good. I've got to turn these lights off because I'm just getting absolutely slammed by these insects. I'm going to finish my dinner. I reckon I'll probably be in bed by about 8, so anyway, I'll check back in with you guys after dinner. Well, hey again guys. Yeah, just been relaxing by the fire. It's pretty much died down now, and it was only a little fire to start with, so I'm pretty tired. I'm going to hop into the hammock, hoping I've got this set up level, because I don't want to be sliding off the insulated part in the middle of the night. It's been a really still, beautiful night. There's a pretty much full moon, not quite, but almost. Not a breath of air again. But yeah, really nice evening, so hoping I get a good night's sleep, and yeah, I am feeling a lot better now. We'll see how it feels in the morning, and we'll figure out what to do then, but bed's calling. We'll see you guys in the morning. Thanks very much, guys. Good morning guys, hope you're well. I slept pretty good last night and it was much needed. So I've had a pretty lazy start to the morning, to be honest. I've been enjoying just laying in my hammock. I've been protected from the sun by these trees that are behind you guys. It's been very, very nice just to relax, and I think that's probably what's going to be in store for the rest of the day. I am going to spend a second night out here. So yeah, looking forward to just relaxing, spending time in nature, and yeah, much needed. So time for some breakfast. I've just got some leftover sweet potato and zucchini, so I've cut that up pretty small, albeit fairly roughly. And I've got a couple of small eggs from my chooks at home. So I'm just gonna make a bit of a breakfast wrap with sweet potato, zucchini, and a couple of eggs. Got a couple of little bantams at home, or little silkies, I should say. They're pretty cute. They're pretty useless as far as chooks go. Their eggs are small and they don't lay very many, but when you do get them, they really do taste very nice. Just a little bit of Cajun spice. I think I've got the heat of the fire about right. It's pretty much died down now, just enough. It's not burning too badly. Oop. Potato down. So I've got my little unique coffee dripper. It's a ultra lightweight coffee dripper from Japan. Very good, but you do need to have a very flat surface, otherwise it can all go very horribly wrong. I do also have a half squashed avocado, which is certainly looking a bit worse for wear. But the avocado itself is fine. I think I've probably just pushed the limits of what this piece of bread can handle. We'll certainly see how we go. Oh, magnificent. So I've spent a couple of hours in the hammock reading a book, and it's been fantastic. I don't often have a lot of time when I'm out on one of these trips, so it's nice to have the extra day and just to be able to relax and not have to rush off in the morning. But this stand of trees is beautiful. It gives me a nice amount of shade and protection from the sun. And these, for whatever reason, these trees were missed by the fire, so it's nice to be in a spot that hasn't burnt, because a lot of the surrounding country here has burnt very badly. I'm really enjoying just listening and looking at the birds. They've been putting on a show all morning. A whole bunch of little birds singing, calling. You can probably hear them all the time. Yeah, it's been really nice. I'm getting pretty warm though. My hammock is now pretty much in the sun, so I do need to find a shadier spot for it. I have packed up my sleeping bag and underquilt just so I can move it around easier, but I think I'll probably camp there again tonight because it's a nice spot. I'm thinking I might actually go for a swim. It's the creek is beautiful, it's not freezing cold, nice clear water, there's a good flow. So yeah, I think I might wander down and have a swim. So the water was really nice. That swim was fantastic. I feel $1 million after that. Yeah, exactly what I needed. It's so nice just to be able to sit in a flowing stream and yeah, just take it all in, let the water wash by you. Yeah, fantastic experience. Always enjoy doing it, and when the water's clear and it's not flowing too fast, yeah, it's really nice. So it's getting on a bit. It's about 5 o'clock now. I've got a good hour or so of light left, and I'm just taking the opportunity while the sun's setting behind the camera. It's coming in underneath the canopy, and just finding a bit of shade here, keeping out of the sun, and yeah, just going to keep back and enjoy myself, watching all these amazing birds and listening to the river. It's really cool. So I thought I'd show you the setup I've got here. This has worked out pretty well actually. I had a pretty good night's sleep last night. This is a 2.7 by 3 meter Aqua Quest Safari tarp. It weighs around 600 grams. And so that smaller space actually saves a couple of 100 grams from my bigger version. But on the diagonal, it's just enough to cover the hammock. I might need to adjust it slightly after I've reset it up today. But so the tarp's set up on the ridge line. I've got prussic loops and a couple of sticks that I've used as toggles. I've only got it toggled in on the corners, and then I've got 2 pegs, and that's worked really well. I've got my tier gear from Tasmania, handmade Peregrine Hammock, and underneath it, this is a new addition. I have had a trip before and I did shoot a video, but this is the video that didn't work out, so I'm going to show it to you again. I've got my tier gear underquilt. Now this is rated to, I think it's -1. Pretty easy to use. I struggled a little bit the first time just because I wasn't sure how it works, but it's actually really simple. It's got some bungee cord and a clip, and that basically just clips onto where the hammock joins the straps. A couple of little prussic loops and some bungee cord, and that helps tension it. This one's got draft collars too. So I think the underquilt itself weighs about 650 grams or thereabouts, so it's actually really lightweight. And over the top I've got a really cool bug net from Alton Goods. It's pretty cheap, it's about $45 I think. Very easy to use, and it can basically be retrofitted to any hammock as far as I can tell. And then I've got my Mont sleeping bag and my Cedar Summit pillow inside, which I always use. But yeah, this has been a pretty good little setup. It's really important to get that flat lay, and last night was much better than what I've previously done in the hammock. I wasn't sliding around as much, so hopefully when I set this up again, I've got it pretty good. So yeah, that's the setup. I'm pretty happy with it. And those cliffs you can see behind my hammock, that is where I have to walk tomorrow. That's a long way up. Okay, I'm getting quite hungry, so I'm going to start the fire because I want some dinner. I've just got one of these cotton makeup remover pads dipped in candle wax. I actually made a whole batch last weekend, so I've got many years worth of supply left. But these are fantastic. They take a spark real easy, and they're just such a lightweight and reliable fire starter. So all I'm going to do, just to the fire still, you can see one strike and it's good to go. There's really no need to rush either. That'll burn for a few minutes, so what I normally do is just slowly lay the branches on top. There is one thing missing. Cheers everyone. Oh yeah. This is such an awesome camp. It's you know, you could be forgiven for thinking it doesn't look like much. There's a whole bunch of very scrappy trees behind me. The fires must have ripped through here and taken them all out. There's a few weeds because this used to be grazed, but this beautiful stand of gum trees. I've got the light hitting the cliffs in the back there. This awesome creek down here. It's pretty good, pretty good. So all this relaxing's taken out of me. I'm pretty hungry actually. I've got some spaghetti bolognese that I dehydrated at home. So I'm just putting that in my pot of water. So I've got some instant risotto there. I think it's pumpkin, bacon and sour cream. Who knows if those flavours work? And my spork's over there somewhere, so I'm just going to give it a quick stir. Okay, so now I'm just going to leave this sitting next to the fire. I want it to warm up and slowly rehydrate as the water warms up. So just got to find a flat enough spot. Okay, I think that'll do. So that'll probably take at least half an hour to 45 minutes to be really good. I'll need to keep an eye on it and keep stirring it, but yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry, so keen to have that on the fire at least. Now the beer is not super cold, but it's better than warm, so yeah, a couple of hours on the river, pretty good. Dinner went down an absolute treat. I have to say, bacon and pumpkin and sour cream flavoured risotto with bolognese, absolute winner. That was that's a great meal. I spared you guys the pleasure of watching me eat. I just had a quiet meal and enjoyed being here. And yeah, today's been a really good day. It's been a reminder for me that time spent in the bush where you can sit or stand or whatever, but the ability to listen and observe and to really take in your surroundings is a pretty powerful thing. And all too often the trips that I do, particularly the ones that I film for YouTube, they're really full on. They're like quickly in camp, then quickly out again. I normally only ever have a weekend, and so I don't have a lot of time to do it. And with that, I guess you kind of miss some of those moments where you can sit there and just take it in. You can see the little birds, you can see the glade of flowers, you can appreciate everything that's going on around you. So today's been really fantastic for me, and a reminder that I need to do this more often, where I need to actually find time to come out here for longer, because it's a really powerful and important thing to do, I think anyway, at least for me. I think I've got about 5 minutes in me before I want to crawl into the hammock, so I'm just going to enjoy the fire. It's, who knows, it may well be the last fire I can have for a while. I wouldn't all be surprised if the fire bans come in soon. I've just seen it's going to be a La Nina year, which means higher than average rainfall, so hopefully we can see the fire bans delayed, but if that's what it is, so be it. I'm going to enjoy this, and then I'm going to crawl in my hammock, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Cheers, guys. Good morning, guys. It's a pretty cold morning, unexpectedly so, and it's a real high dew point, I think. So a lot of the top of my tarp, even my undercoat here, is pretty damp. Looks like it's going to be another beautiful day. The sun's just coming up behind me there. It's already starting to hit the peaks behind you. It is 6:45, so I woke up just after 6. Spent a few minutes filming, and now I just want to get things packed up, because I do have quite a big climb ahead of me, and I do want to get home in a reasonable hour. I will be setting off pretty soon. I want to make the most of this cool morning before it gets too hot. Okay, time for a quick breakfast. Just about all packed up. The sun's just popped over the ridge behind you guys. I can feel the warmth already. So yeah, I do want to get moving. Now the fire has been completely extinguished, so I'm just using my little gas canister stove. I just needed to make a coffee. Oh yeah. So coffee in the bush is always good. I've got some muesli and milk powder. Yeah, the sun's just popping up behind this tree, so I can barely look at the camera without getting blinded. But yeah, looking pretty good for an 8 o'clock departure. It's 7:30 now, and I reckon maybe another 10 minutes worth of packing up, and then I'm good to go. So yeah, enjoy the last bit of my coffee. I'm going to finish packing up and then swap you guys out to the GoPro, and we'll hike on out of here. As always, never looking forward to the climb out. It doesn't matter like how much up there is. Whenever there's up, it hurts, and today's going to be no exception. But anyway, we'll do it together. We'll see you guys soon. All packed up. I've just done a final check and everything around camp is looking pretty good. You can hardly tell I've been here. So nothing for it but to start walking. I've been debating with myself all morning whether or not I should take my shoes and socks off to cross the creek. I've got one water crossing. I'm probably erring on the side of I'm just going to walk through because I can't be bothered taking my shoes off 2 minutes after setting off from camp. I'll have to pay for it later on when I'm walking up the hill. But the grass is actually quite wet still from the dew in the morning, so I'm sure I'll probably get wet feet anyway. So crossing right here actually looks pretty good. It's not very deep. My feet are going to be wet and I don't have waterproof shoes on, so oh well. That wasn't too bad. It's been so nice to see and camp in a spot where there definitely has been a fire impact, but there's still a lot of life around. So I've seen lots of goanna sign, lots of wombat sign, heaps of birds around, lots of insects, and that stand of trees I was camping in was obviously not fire affected. So yeah, really nice to see. Because yeah, some of the country I walked through on the way in, wow, they got absolutely hammered. This place is absolutely riddled with wombat burrows and fallen timber. Just need to pay very close attention through here. The trick with this sort of country is just to try and find your best way through. Hey mate, how you doing? That is one big goanna sitting in that tree. Hopefully you can see it on the GoPro. Yeah, he's going to be over a metre long. Just in the fork of the tree there. So I found this old trail. It's pretty overgrown, and last time I came here I couldn't find this bit. But since the fire, somebody's come in and put flagging tape on the trail, so I assume it's just a bushwalking group. But yeah, it always just surprises me that people are happy to leave a whole bunch of pink fluoro tape in the bush. The trail's not that hard to find since the fires have come through here. Just in taking a moment to enjoy some shade. Most of the walk was pretty much in full sun this morning, so I'm completely drenched in sweat. I probably need to get a dark coloured shirt, don't I? This light coloured shirt's not really cut out for this, I don't think, especially when you're walking through fire affected areas, and I'm absolutely filthy. Yeah, it's just gone 9 o'clock, so hopefully another hour or so and I'll be back at the car, maybe a little bit longer actually, but we'll just see how it goes. You know, it's quite unbelievable to there's evidence that someone's been riding a trail bike on this trail, and I can't figure out for the life of me how they actually got it here, because to come in the way I did, there's a broken line through the cliffs, but that's as good as it gets, and I can't imagine taking a trail bike through there. But Somehow they have, because there's marks all the way through here. They've actually done a fair bit of damage to the trail as well. Nearly at the top. Righty guys, well it's just gone 10 o'clock, so I've made the top of the ridge. My car's at about another 500 meters or so. So I might leave the video there. Just want to say a big thank you to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. It's always fun reading your comments and seeing how many people enjoy the content I make. So yeah, I really do get a lot out of that, so thank you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave one of those below. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help with the algorithms just to get the videos out there. Alrighty, final little slog. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.